Here's the finished beaded section, and I'm kind of just comparing it. Obviously, it's not exact. I also had to teach myself how to digitize the symbol again, but smaller, so I could put it onto the sleeves as well. And here I am, I finally finished one full panel, and I wanted to do the middle portion as well, but I just couldn't figure out how to get the fabric in the middle centered and not get fabric caught underneath, if that makes sense. But honestly, once it's pleated in the back like normal Regency era gowns, it looked fine anyway. So I added that to the jacket and kind of just did a quick try on. I really love the length of the hem, and I'm really happy with how well and centered the purple symbols turned out. The green fabric is like a poly twill, so it's not as like flowy as I would like, but you know what? It was in my stash and close to the correct color, and it didn't cost me anything. I think I've had this green fabric in my stash for well over 4 years, if not longer. So anyway, I aligned it up with this purple satin that I was going to use for an Agatha Harkness coat, but decided to use for this instead. And then I went back to finishing up the brooch. I'm 100% positive this is not how this was made for the movie. I'm not a jeweler. I'm just kind of a costumer who makes things work when I can't figure out how a production did it. So what you're seeing is I'm cutting out 2 pieces of craft foam and then gluing between the 2 pieces of craft foam all the dangling beads. It was a little tricky to get them to hang perfectly so that they wouldn't be uneven. And then I did the same thing by cutting out another piece of craft foam and gluing it to the back of the beaded section that I had just beaded, and, you know, making sure that it sat completely flush against the craft foam. You'll see in a second that what I'm going to do is take the excess fabric around the edge and then glue it over the back of the craft foam. I don't know if that makes sense, but it worked. You'll see me doing it right here. Once I had it centered and the glue had kind of cooled down, I went ahead and just started cutting the fabric and turning it over so that it would glue, you can see it perfectly right here, so that it would glue perfectly to the edge and have a nice flat back. Here was my error though, because it's got those dangly things and there's really no way for me to have them sewn through the circular section so they hang down. I don't know if it's making sense, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. So what I ended up doing was, after I'm done with this section, I took the beaded section and then I took the little silver ring from the Hildy and Joe thing that I had bought, and then I hot glued that all around the beads. As you can see here, it was a little bit bigger than it should have been, so I did have to cut and, you know, adjust it. And then I took out my good old hot glue gun and glued it all the way around. Maybe there's a better way to do this, but honestly, it worked for me.